Minecraft, undefeated. Brian, Lorgon111, is undefeated at Ultra Hardcore tournaments. Because I haven't played any yet, but still, that's good, right? Yeah, we're going to do something a little different today, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello, I'm trying something a little new today. UHC Ssp, which is Ultra Hardcore and Survival Single Player. I have, on a new account, installed the Ultra Hardcore mod because I've really been wanting to try it out. And so here we are in a new world, trying out the Ultra Hardcore mod. I basically wanted to do mostly kind of a talky episode, but at the same time wanted to have some, exciting something video to have going on in the background while I'm talking. And so I decided starting a new world and trying to survive in Ultra Hardcore mode would be a good way to do it, especially because of what I wanted to talk about today. Oh wow, and we got really lucky because there is a village right over there. And so actually, why don't I go immediately head over to the village. So, Ultra Hardcore, if you don't know what it is, what rock have you been hiding under? I guess is the first thing. But basically, it is a mod where there are a few modifications to the game, but the kind of main, most important one is that you do not regain health by having a full stomach. And so, just about the only way to regain health, there's a couple of ways. One involves potions, but the main way is via golden apples, which you can craft. But crafting golden apples takes more resources. It takes 8 gold ingots rather than 8 gold nuggets. And so it is much more difficult to come by 8 gold ingots in this game. And so basically it's very, very hard to regain health. And so you have to be very, very careful not to take damage either from mobs or from fall damage, other environmental damage. And typically, you'll be playing on a server against other people and trying to kill each other. I'm just playing in single player, but nevertheless, it's still kind of good practice and fun excitement. Just player versus environment, because you turn around a corner in a cave and one skeleton hits you, and there's a fifth of your life right there, gone in the blink of an eye, is what often happens. All right, it doesn't seem like there is a blacksmith in this village. So the next appropriate thing to do would be to start creating a few tools and things so I can start killing some chickens and whatnot. And let's go down a little bit deeper to where we will find some resources underground. Specifically, I want to find some stone immediately so I can immediately upgrade to some stone tools. And so I will do that. Alright, so that's the Ultra Hardcore mod kind of in a nutshell. And I'm just playing to try to survive and see if I can get myself into iron tools and possibly get myself a golden apple and, just for fun to see how it goes. But in the meantime, I want to talk about the Ultra Hardcore season that has been going on among the Mindcrack folks. Kurt and Good and Etho and all those guys. And so let me go ahead and get myself enough to create a stone pick, and I will mine a bit more stone, and then we'll keep doing those usual things. So, if you haven't already been watching, first of all, this will have some spoilers. I'm recording this on Sunday, and so they are about 5 episodes into Season 5 of Ultra Hardcore, and so if you haven't caught up on all of that, there's going to be spoilers, so just letting you know ahead of time, because I'm going to talk about what's been going on. And, yeah, in general, I've really been enjoying watching the Ultra Hardcore series that those guys have been playing. I think it's compelling video. I think it's fun to watch. It's fun to kind of root for the guys that you like or that you think are doing well. I think it's fun having the PvP. I like how they've been mixing it up and doing things with teams and other things. Alright, I need to think for a moment while I create my initial tools to make sure I create the right ones. I'm going to need an axe because axes are cool. To cut down trees, I'm going to need a shovel because everybody likes a shovel. And of course, I'm going to need a sword, and in fact, I will go ahead and create 2 swords. Because I intend to kill a lot of chickens and other things. And so I got that going on. I should probably go ahead and create another pick because I'm going to need that too. And then finally, since I have 16, that is a perfect number to go ahead and create 2 furnaces because I know I'm going to need furnaces for cooking a bunch of stuff up later. Alright, so there we go. And now back to the game. The next thing I want to do is find some good trees to chop down that are ideally these kind of trees that I might get apples from. Alright, so let me talk about some specific aspects of Ultra Hardcore in this season. And I need to go ahead and kill some pigs for food. Although I think I saw some chickens over here, which would be even better. Because chickens give you feathers, and feathers you can use for crafting arrows, because a bow and arrow is especially useful in Ultra Hardcore where you don't want to get near any of the mobs who can kill you. Let's see. So I guess I'll talk kind of like roughly in chronological order about some of the interesting things that I felt happened in this Ultra Hardcore series. So in Season 5, they had 12 players rather than just 8, which was the most they ever had. Unfortunately, it kind of lagged up the game in the server, it seems, or maybe just wherever the server was hosted, like the internet was not doing well that day. But in any case, nevertheless, it was still fun to see both 12 people and new players. It created tons and tons of video, and so I've spent a ton of time lately watching videos rather than producing them, as you may have noticed. Hooray, apples! Boom noodle. And I see a cow over there who I'm going to go kill in just a moment after I cut down one more tree. So yeah, in general, I feel like it's a good strategy to cut down a few trees next to where there are some mobs, because then you can just wait and let some of the leaves decay while you're killing the mobs. And then walk back and hopefully get some apples. So cows are super useful because they can give you some initial leather armor as well as really good food. And I see a cave system down here that I'm not going to go into yet. On the first day, you want to try to kill as many mobs up top as possible to have plenty of food for when you do go down into the caves, as well as some armor from leather if you can manage to get that. And I know I saw some chickens like initially when I spawned, or I think I did, but now I don't see them. I thought they were around here. Yeah, so you had new people. And in general, it's been the case that the new people like haven't been as practiced as some of the veterans. But nevertheless, it quickly got interesting when Doc M77, managed to get sight of Packrat and immediately went after him, which on the one hand is bad strategy. Like, you don't want to do player versus player in the beginning of the game, because when you're only like a half an hour into it or whatever, like, no one has accumulated many good resources, and any player versus player battle is going to hurt both players. One player is probably going to die, and the other player will get that player's inventory. But that early into the game, like, that player won't have much good inventory, and so overall it's not worth it. But nevertheless, Doc M went after Packrat. He was very lucky that that was the person that he found to go after, because I've previously said that Doc is the weakest player, and it's now clear that he's not. I think he's in fact the second weakest player, and the weakest was Packrat, because I think Packrat like had, but ooh, there is a creeper who must have just come out of that cave, and I do not really want to fight you. It is single player, and so I'm pretty confident that I can get this without taking damage, but if this were multiplayer on a server, this would be much more dangerous, because you cannot afford to take any damage in this. Alright, I really need to cover some more territory at this point, I think. And so there are plains this way, and so I think I'm going to stick to the plains for the moment. Find some more animals to kill, hopefully find some chickens before the sun goes down and we have to dig in or go into caves. Yeah, so basically Doc chased down Packrat, and Packrat, despite having materials to create armor, had not actually crafted any armor for himself yet, which is a rookie mistake. And so he did not survive that battle, but at the same time he did do a fair bit of damage to Doc and got Doc into bad shape. But at the same time, Doc has shown that he can be very aggressive, even in the team games back in Season 4. He helped his team win that way, I think. Because in a lot of the player versus player action, like, despite the fact that they play for hours at a time, like, it comes down to, like, split-second decisions that really matter. We'll talk about another one of those in just a moment. Alright, I still am not seeing any chickens, which is kind of a bummer. How are we doing on time? The sun is about to go down already. Yuck. Alright, I'm gonna have to... I don't have any coal. I haven't found any, like, surface coal. I haven't cooked up any charcoal, although I could do that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that in just a moment. I'm gonna have to start cooking up some food. So I guess let's find... Yeah, I don't even see a cave system around here. Before it gets dark, I just need to go ahead and dig in. I think it's a good strategy to just kind of dig in somewhere random where there's dirt. Because you can easily cover it up so that other people won't find you. And so what is it I want to do? I want to start cooking up some charcoal. The furnace will give me a little bit of initial light down here until I get some charcoal cooked up. I can go ahead and set down another furnace, which I can use for cooking up food. Food, delicious food. And so let's go ahead and get... yeah, a piece of charcoal to put in this furnace to start cooking this up. And then I'll get another piece of charcoal to put right here. All right, and we will have that going, and then I can go ahead and create some torches as well. Oops. And let's just turn all that into sticks. Great. All right, and so now it's nighttime, and I just need to start digging down and hope that I find some good resources. So iron is obviously... Oh, and here's some coal immediately. Ha! If I dug down one more, I wouldn't have had to make the charcoal. Oh well. Yeah, iron is key because you really need to get armor. It's almost always the case that you're never going to be able to avoid mobs entirely. So at some point, a skeleton with their crazy aimbot skills is going to, you know, leap out behind a corner in some cave and shoot an arrow in you. And so you want that to happen when you have iron armor on, rather than when you're just kind of bare-skinned. And so getting into a full set of iron armor is almost always one of the first things that you want to do, kind of like utilizing your time underground at night. And I did manage to pick up, let's do this, enough to go ahead and craft some leather boots, which are not awesome, but it's better to have some armor than none, and so I will go ahead and put those on. And I'm going to want to create some more torches at the beginning. And so I will do that. And I guess I don't need to be creating charcoal anymore, and I do have other food to cook up, and so let's go ahead and swap that out. And this, meanwhile, I can go ahead and put one more piece in here, and I need to eat. And then we're in pretty good shape. So yeah, I just realized, so I talked about Doc and Pack Rat. One thing I didn't talk about in general about the new season of Ultra Hardcore is they're still calling it Ultra Hardcore in Season 5, even though it's not. It's actually Ultra Normal Core. So Ultra Hardcore, so hard, like you know Minecraft has 3 difficulties. It's got easy, normal, and hard. So that's hard. Hardcore, Minecraft has a hardcore difficulty, which is basically kind of just like hard, except for you can't respawn. Once you die, you're out. And so that's how they've been playing, and so, you know, hardcore. And then ultra hardcore basically uses the mod where you don't regain health when your food bars are full, and so that kind of explains the ultra. But in Season 5, apparently they're playing on normal difficulty rather than hard difficulty, which I think is actually better because in so much of the ultra hardcore that they've done so far, like player versus environment had killed so many of the players. So I think having the mobs hit you a little bit less is a good idea. But then if you are going to do that, then I think the name should be Ultra Normal Core rather than Ultra Hardcore. So that's kind of like a silly minor rant that I have. But yeah, it's fine. They branded the whole thing Ultra Hardcore. Yes, let's see. I need to kind of go back to... I made a big list of notes about kind of different things I wanted to talk about with respect to the Ultra Hardcore series going on. So we talked about Doc versus Pack Rat. Then later on, Etho versus Doc. Etho managed to see Doc below ground, and he knew that Doc was weak because another thing about the mod is it shows you how many hearts all the other players have. And so Doc would be a great person to kill, both because he was weak in hearts and because he had already killed Pack Rat, and so in theory, he could be sitting on the most good inventory of all the players. Although I think he had still kind of a mediocre set of inventory. I'm going to go ahead and get some iron cooking. And I think I will actually yeah, bring all of my inventory over here. I'll grab these furnaces and my crafting table, because I'm not certain that I'll come back up this way. I'm hoping that I'm going to find a cave where I'll be able to more easily find some iron. But let's go ahead and head back down here and have my furnace next to me over here. Cooking up some iron. Ooh, I think I just heard some lava, and so that could be a good sign. Probably opens into some kind of cave system. Let's get that cooking up. I could have some armor soon. So yeah, Etho went after Doc in a later episode, and that was definitely a good strategy. It was a weaker player, and it was a player that was going to have some inventory. Etho was extremely stealthy, which I think made for good video, and he did a good job kind of trying to keep it interesting and talking about how he was sneaking up on him and having to face the mobs that were around him. But at the same time, I think if he would have been less stealthy and just barged in, he might have had more success, simply because Doc had a chance to eat a golden apple and gain some more hearts back. The lava is getting really loud. I want to see if I can listen for it. I think it might be this way. I'm not certain, actually. Oh, nope, there it is. So this is actually, I don't even have a bucket yet, and I don't have a bucket of water. If I was playing against people and I found an underground lava pool this early into the game, I think I would create a... Wow, this is a huge one, too. Am I down? I'm not down at level 10, am I? No. This is, yeah. This is not at the bottom. This is crazy. I think I would make a nether portal. And go ahead and trap the nether, and I might show that at some point later. I'm not going to try to do that right now. But I think if you do happen to find an underground lava pool and you already have your bucket of water and enough iron to make buckets, that could be a good strategy, because there's a number of good traps you can lay for whoever goes into the nether second, so long as you manage to get there first. But I think it's only good if you manage to kind of get there in the first half hour or so. Otherwise, other players might have beaten you there. But I may show that later if we come back to this. And I didn't even look. It looked like this might have been connected to a cave system, actually, somewhere over there. I should take a better look and see if there's a way that I might be able to get access to some more iron and things. Nope, it's just kind of an underground. I don't think that actually goes up into a cave system or anything. Alright, a nice place full of light, though. We'll keep on digging and see if we happen to come across any mobs or a cave system. So yeah, basically, Etho kind of hindered himself a little bit because he gave Doc some time to heal. But at the same time, I think he played it relatively smart. He didn't want to encounter mobs before he got to Doc. And some of it was just kind of unlucky in terms of the direction he was coming in. There was another cave system, and some of it was just the bad luck of going after Doc. Doc isn't good at lighting everything up anyway, and so there were even some mobs like in Doc's area, and so, you know, Etho wasn't sure exactly what he was going to be getting into. But of course he had more life than Doc, and then he took out Doc and managed to get Doc's good inventory. And that's kind of where we're standing at the end of episode 5 or whatever it is, and so Etho's in really good shape. He's down a couple of hearts from fighting Doc, but he has a lot of good inventory. And Etho with good inventory, I think, will be an extremely dangerous player. Another thing to note is that Etho managed to see Doc a long ways away. Etho and BOO both seem to have very big, bright monitors that allow them to see a ton of stuff that I never see. When I play Minecraft on my screen, I play in a window, 1280 by 720. So that it only takes up, you know, like a third of my monitor or something. But even when I watch YouTube videos, like I watch them full screen, and like I still couldn't see Doc's name most of the time when Etho could see him. And so I don't know if that's just my monitor brightness or my monitor isn't big enough or, you know, what it is. So that's definitely kind of a minor advantage that some players have. I have 6 iron at this point, and so in a minute, and I have some more iron that I can go ahead and cook up. Let's go ahead and get some more cooking. I may go ahead and create an iron pickaxe next. I really want to get iron armor, but at the same time it's also, well, yeah, at this point I actually need to convert it into armor first. I can create more stone picks. Armor is so key at the beginning in Ultra Hardcore, because at some point you're going to be going up against mobs. And actually, on the one hand, I've gotten all the way down here, but I don't hear anything. I haven't found any caves. Well, here's a little bit more iron. But it's going to be turning daytime, and so I should really go back upstairs and try to find some chickens and things when it's daytime again. So I need to switch strategies here in a moment. On the one hand, it's unlucky not to find a cave system where you can easily explore and find a bunch of iron. But on the other hand, it's lucky from the point of view if you don't find a cave system, you also don't find any mobs. And yeah, no mobs is definitely an advantage. All right, and so we are going to go ahead while we are waiting for this to cook up. Let's go ahead and create our first piece of iron armor, which of course would be the chest plate, because it is worth the most shirts worth of armor. And so we will grab that. I am extremely fond of creating a bucket early, but at this point I am going to be able to get 7 for the leggings, and so I think I will make that more important. But if I happen to only have 3 or 4 left at this point, I would go ahead and spend it on a bucket, because a bucket is good for both defense and offense, both against mobs and against other players. Oops. And so I think that could be, oops, darn it. All right. Since I didn't actually cook up the 7th bit, I actually will go ahead and create 2 buckets now. And we'll get some more iron for armor later. Just because I want to get a move on and get back outside before the daytime all evaporates. So I haven't been keeping a timer, and so I'm not sure what time it is, but I'm pretty sure it's the next day already. And so that would be a good strategy to like keep a timer. All right, so I think I talked about Etho and Doc a bit. Kurt got extremely unlucky. We all know that Minecraft is full of bugs. The particular bug that he fell victim to is a bug that has definitely been in the game for a while, both in single player and multiplayer. I thought that they had fixed it at one point, but I don't know if they actually just didn't fix it, or if the bug has regressed and come back. I need to switch swords here. And all right, there was the village, so I guess I kind of want to go in this direction through this forest. I don't really want to go through the forest, but I really need to find new biomes where there might be chickens, and so yeah, I guess I should kill some pigs while I'm here, because I don't have a ton of food yet. But I want to travel and cover some new territory in the hopes of finding some chickens, and so we'll go through this icy forest over here. Alright, yeah, Kurt got really unlucky. He died due to a bug. That, you know, it's Minecraft. What can you do? There's bugs in the game. It was, on the one hand, pretty unfair, but on the other hand, I think there's nothing that they could do, you know, to make it better. He didn't have an easy way to get back to his inventory. And even if he did, like, Good. So Good is a stand-up guy. Despite the fact that Good is in the nether with a half of a heart, and so basically in extreme danger on his own. He obviously was keeping up with what happened with Kurt through the chat, and then reasoning about it, and like talking to him and trying to see if he wanted, you know, to try to let him, you know, respawn and get back in, but talking about the fact that, you know, if he went in creative and tried to fly back to his inventory, you know, he might see other players or get some advantage like that. And so I give Good a lot of credit for, despite the fact that it would have been hurting his game, like, you know, thinking about what was going on with other players and feeling for them, and trying to do what was right. But yeah, I think basically there's nothing you can do at that point. All right, apparently some zombies underground over here. Got to be careful. Here's some lava again, too. Yeah, there's nothing you can do when a bug or a glitch like hurts someone in the game. You know, if it's 5 minutes in, you can restart, but after that, like, there's no good way to like fix it. At least without mods that allow you to kind of like go back in time or go back to where you just died or something like that. And they didn't have any of that. So yeah, it was unfortunate and unlucky for Kurt. But, you know, I just took, that was so dumb. All right, so I just took a bunch of damage, fall damage, and I am not going to get those hearts back for a long time, if ever. And so that was really, really dumb. But yeah, that just shows what's so hard about Ultra Hardcore. You make a tiny mistake and it stays with you, because you are not getting those hearts back. Alright, I want to kill, I think there was one more cow over here. There's a few more cows over here, great. Alright, and so cows are great because they give you tons of food, and they give you leather for armor if you don't have iron armor yet. And the tons of food, like raw beef, even if you eat it raw, You know, it doesn't give you nearly as much as cooked steak, but nevertheless, like, it's still a good food source and it doesn't poison you. And so, yeah, killing a bunch of cows is almost always a good thing to do. Oops, I just heard a skeleton, hopefully somewhere underground. But nevertheless, I want to get away from here. So yeah, in general, I think I've said it before, possibly when talking about ultra hardcore and passing, like skeletons, basically at the beginning of the game, until you're in iron armor, I'm getting a little bit of lag here. Ooh, now I'm getting a lot. Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, hopefully that will go away. We'll see what happens. Yeah, skeletons. Unless you have full iron armor and possibly a bow and arrow, like, I think the right strategy in ultra hardcore against skeletons is just always run away. Like, if you're a skeleton, just pick another direction to go. Because people have shown time and time again that, you know, skeletons, you know, they tend to just get one hit off of you, if not more, and you can't afford it in this type of gameplay. And so, despite the fact that it's very wussy, like, I think the correct strategy is basically to always avoid skeletons. Okay, here is a desert, which is exactly what I want. So you could be asking the question, you know, if you never fight any skeletons, how are you going to get bones that you want to have to tame wolves and do different things? And the answer to that is you can simply let the skeletons burn up in the daytime. And so if you're in a desert or a plain, like I'm about to be over here, and, all right, the sun is starting to set, but we still have a bit of daylight, and manage to hole up at night under here, and then come back up in the morning as everybody is burning up, then you can get tons of access to bones and arrows on the surface just by getting the skeletons that burn up at night. And so I think that's the best strategy for trying to get bones if you want to go after wolves. I don't have a good sense of how important wolves are. They're definitely useful allies, both against players and against the environment, but I'm not sure that there is a big a game changer as has been seen, you know, once back in Season 4B or whatever it was. And, alright, I have more time. I should explore a little bit more of this desert before I dig. There might be another village or something. But at some point I'm going to dig in under the desert. And then hang out here for the night. Try to find some more iron underground, and then hopefully find a bunch of burned up skeletons in the morning. And it is a pretty big desert, and so that is good. It seems like it continues over this way. Let's try going over this way. I want to eat to keep my food bars full at all times once I have kind of a basic supply of food. Now I have plenty of food at this point. Like, I probably don't even need to kill any more animals at this point. The main reason being it allows you to sprint. And at any point, if you were playing this, you know, player versus player against players on a server, you never know when you're going to encounter another player who may be better armored than you are. And the right strategy for you will be to run away. And you want to be able to sprint continually the entire time in order to get away. And so you need to have all your food bars up. Because if you start with your food bars down and you can't sprint as long as the other player, well, then you're probably dead. So it's important every time your food goes down at all, I think, to go ahead and eat. All right, this is a nice kind of flat, open expanse of the desert over here. And so I think this is a good place to go ahead and try to dig in. That looked like it might be a 4-tall cactus over there. How crazy. All right, so I'm going to dig in down over here. I'm starting before the sun goes down because with deserts, it's a little bit harder to kind of dig in at night because you have to worry about all the falling sand and do some torch mining or different things. All right, I think that'll be enough, and now I can kind of like dig in under here. There we go. And get down into the stone. All right. So this will be visible at night, but I will just... Well, obviously I'm playing single player, and so that doesn't matter, but if I were playing against other players, there is some advantage to having a hidden base, but for the most part, the players have more often had kind of trouble finding one another when they were trying to, rather than just kind of stumbling into one another, you know, at random. And so I think people have been a little too careful about, like, trying to make sure that they have hidden bases and things. I think it's actually better from the point of view of... You know, we're all making YouTube videos of this, or at least the people that you've been watching YouTube videos of this. And in addition to, trying to play the game and it's against other players and you want to win, like in addition to that aspect, there's also the aspect of, this is just all entertainment for you all to watch on YouTube, and so you want to make it more entertaining. And I think it's more entertaining for people to leave signs of each other and to try to set up traps for each other and do different things like that. I need to think for a moment here. All right, I want to start cooking up a little bit more iron as well as some more food. Let's go ahead and cook up the last one of these, and I won't kill any more pigs. And then I cook up some more of the beef. And I am also going to have to craft myself some new picks and things in just a moment here. And let's see. Yeah, let's see if I happen to get lucky and find some iron right here before this pick runs out. Nope, doesn't look like it. So let's go ahead and craft another stone pick. Actually, I'll craft a couple of them since I'll probably need them. Zoom, zoom. And yeah, I'm item repairing them. I'm not sure if that's really worth it, but I tend to just like item repair, and I'm getting a little bit of lag again, so I'll be right back. To be continued next episode.